Welcome back to Edgework here on the Hammer Betting Network, a daily live NHL show Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Today is Wednesday, March 29th. Only 3 games on the schedule here tonight, just Alex and I today. But Alex, how's things going? You ready for these 3 games tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be fun to watch, but, we're talking about it off air. There's, some close matchups, and these games are going to be a little bit tough to handicap because everybody's fighting for their playoff lives and different positioning right now, and that's going to be imperative in all 3 of these contests tonight. So definitely a fun one for the fans, but it's going to be a little tough for us bettors today.
Well, what jersey you got on there? You want to show everybody what jersey that is? Pretty nice.
Manitoba Moose from the IHL days, so like mid-late 90s version of that today.
That's pretty nice. I like that one. How many jerseys do you have in that rotation that you got going on there?
I have about 75 or 80. So
75 or 80 different jerseys.
Yeah.
That's unreal. I only have.
I live in Chicago, and then there's a bunch of, but most of them I have here in St. Paul. So.
Okay. You got like NFL jerseys and NBA jerseys.
Oh yeah, I was just going by hockey. Yeah, if you throw in NFL and baseball, then I definitely have well 100. So.
Fair enough. I think I've got about 8. I think that's maybe my total 8. I got like 2 Leafs jerseys, a bunch of NBA jerseys, and then I had 1 Jays jersey. That's it.
Nice. Yeah, I have a bunch of White Sox jerseys, which I'll start wearing because we got baseball coming up on as early as tomorrow. So I'll be cracking some of those out. But yeah, it's mostly hockey jerseys I have, and like I said, I rotate them all the time. I wear them year round pretty much. Instead of buying hoodies, I just buy jerseys basically.
Well, so money asking here the important questions. Do you have an Oilers jersey though?
Not yet.
We are.
That is on the wish list. There's a few jerseys. I still don't have an Oilers jersey. I still don't have a Leafs jersey. So there's somebody I still have to get. The only ones I'll never wear will be the St. Louis Blues or the Detroit Red Wings. As a Hawks fan,
okay.
I can't do either one of those. But everybody else is fair game. So.
Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, send those over. I'll send some Leaf jerseys over for you this year. Hopefully we get like the Stanley Cup Finals patch on the jersey.
Maybe we'll see.
All right, well, we have 3 games today to break down. We'll get into each of those. If anybody in the chat has any questions, please make sure to send them in there. We'll try to break those down as well, get into anything you guys are wondering about, your best bets, questions you have about our bets as well. So we'll get into all of those. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody that if you have not already, if you're looking to track our picks, you want to find them on that, find them somewhere, you want to see what we've bet throughout the course of this season, you can go download the BetStamp app, which you can find out in iOS and Android as well as on web. You can find us there in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. And the easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always get the best odds. So we recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to do so. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book for games, futures, and player props. Save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. You can download the app as well as sign up on web today. And if you are looking to sign up for new sports books, please check out the new offers available at betstamp.app/Edgework. Make sure to go over there, or you can hit the link in the description of this video to sign up for new sportsbook. So if you see a sportsbook today that's talked about that you don't have access to or you haven't signed up yet for, please make sure to go to the link in the description to sign up for those sportsbooks. So hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, as well as click the link in the description to sign up for those new books. But Stone 9 here asking, where are we at with the Oilers looking at the division winners? Oilers are plus 382 to win the division, or 380 to win the division. I'm seeing here, at least on ours, we locked in the Oilers Stanley Cup winner a little while ago at plus 1,800. That was a so money. Now down to plus 1,300. So not entirely sure what they're at to win the division. Can pull that up here, which you can find here on the BetStamp app. But another future that we had locked in, Canes to win the Metro. Seems like we're in pretty good place for that one. Other futures, we do have the Wild Stanley Cup winner plus 2,500 down to plus 2,000. And the final future that we have here is Kings Pacific Division winner plus 500. Still sitting at plus 500 there. But those are our futures that we have. And yesterday's bets, as you can see here on the 8, we do still end up money, 2.4% ROI on the day yesterday.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with that division. I mean, you could take a shot with any of those 3 teams, Vegas, LA, or Edmonton right now. Like I said, if you're getting a plus 380 for a team, I mean, the 95 points is 3 back of Vegas and 1 back of LA right now. It's going to just be a revolving wheel until it stops. So if you're getting any kind of a plus price on those 3 teams and you want to jump in, I wouldn't talk anybody out of that.
Yeah, it is interesting. Is that something that you would be adding on to your card at this point, Alex? Like, you're looking at like 8, 9 games left in the season, 7 for some of these
at this
teams?
point, for me personally, I wouldn't be taking a shot with that. Like I said, because it's you're getting a good price with whoever you bet there, but it's not necessary for me. I'd rather try and pick apart the last 7 or 8 games individually than try to just grab a big plus price. But I understand people wanting to have that in pocket, and like I said, there's really not a bad option to go with any of those teams with how close they are. So.
Right. All right, well, let's get into the games. We'll start here tonight with the Florida-Toronto game. Florida on the road to take on the Maple Leafs. Florida coming into this one is sitting 3 points out of a wild card spot, and their last little run here has absolutely killed them. Looking at a 4-game losing streak, they're 5-4-1 in their last 10. You're now 3 points back of Pitt, 6 points back of the Islanders, in a situation where they had actually jumped themselves into a wild card spot about a week ago. Now you're looking at them as they've faltered right out, and even Pittsburgh hasn't been playing the best hockey, but they've still managed to stay ahead of the Panthers here, whereas the Leafs are now sitting comfortably. They've clinched their playoff spot, actually with a Florida loss the other day to the Senators. They grab onto that playoff spot, lock that one down. Coming into this one, 6-3-1 in their last 10. They're coming off a win against the Predators on Sunday. If you're looking at this game here tonight, Toronto is favored against the Panthers. We're looking at Toronto going back to 11-7. Florida's in a little bit of a desperation spot here. Is this a position you might be interested in taking a Florida position on?
No, it really isn't. I mean, like I said, yeah, they need all the points they can get, and they're going to need a little bit of help as well to try to grab one of those 2 wild card spots in the East. But I just don't see it coming together for them right now. They're playing some bad hockey. This has been a disappointing team all season long. And I understand why this is such a short price for Toronto. They're favored, but not in a large favorite spot, because everybody's looking toward, well, Florida needs this game. Toronto just clinched a playoff spot. So far with these teams that have clinched playoff spots, we haven't seen a complete drop-off yet. We talked about even with Boston, we feel like, they might be trying to rest some players and kind of gearing up and things. We saw them, with a bad loss last night. They looked a bit disinterested, but they weren't, checking out right away as soon as they clinched the division. They came back and beat a good, Carolina team on Sunday. So you can't just always assume that teams are just going to be all, disengaged because they've clinched the playoff spot. I think Toronto comes out here hot and ready, and I actually like them in regulation. You're pretty much getting around a near even money price. So I'm taking a shot here with the Leafs. I just don't trust in Florida. This is more of a Florida fade than a Maple Leafs backing.
So we're seeing best price that we're pulling in on BetSimp right now, plus 108 on the Leafs to win in regulation tonight. Would you want to play this full unit, half unit? What would be the way you go about this?
This would be a half unit, because, like I said, it is tough, and with Florida needing points, Toronto, I mean, they clinched the playoff spot, but they still want to get points to make sure they can secure home ice in that first round matchup, which more likely will be against Tampa Bay. So we could see the potential of an overtime game if this is tied late. But I just don't think. I just like that more of a fade on Florida. I feel like Toronto should be able to handle this with 60.
All right, so we tracked that one there. Half unit on the Leafs regulation, plus 108. you talking about like teams, they say, all right, they're going to fold it in, or maybe they're going to start sitting guys and stuff. I will say, as someone who, I know we joke about it, but like I do Leaf show, I watch the Leafs all the time. As someone who's been watching this, they're finally getting into a rhythm here since the trade deadline. We saw them go through an extended stretch where their play was some of the worst in the league at 5v5. Now it's kind of ramping back up to be back to where it should be with the guys that they have here. They're starting to build some of the chemistry back in. I would say with this Leafs team, in terms of looking out for them sitting guys out or taking their foot off the gas down the stretch here, I can't imagine that really being the case down the rest of the way. There might be times where they take a guy out here or there, but I don't think it'll be a situation where we see them fully sitting guys out. I think they're going to want to continue this trend that they're on right now and not have that falter before the playoffs start. That's my thoughts, just having watched the Leafs as closely as I have. Alex fixing camera there once you get that going. I do have a question for Alex. I see the question in the chat here as well, or someone bringing it up in the chat. Good to go there, Alex. Muted. There you go. Muted still.
Yeah, my regular camera for some reason is trying to glitch out on me, and I'm not sure what that's about. So I'm gonna have to use the backup if it keeps happening. But yeah, so sorry about that.
All right, no worries at all. There is someone in the chat here, Bankroll Spend, saying Leafs first period and Leafs -1 for me. Now, I know you're someone who really enjoys playing the first periods or taking a look at those. Or someone I would go to get any type of info on the first periods. If we're looking at this one here tonight, the Leafs currently sitting -0.5 plus 155 on the puck line in the first period, -133 money line. We're also looking at an over 1.5, heavily juiced over 1.5 coming into the first period. There are some twos at plus money. Do you have any thoughts on playing this one in the first period?
Yeah, honestly, Maple Leafs puck line, and that's a good price for that. Anything as high as plus 155, that's worth taking a shot on, because that's the thing I like about these first period wagers too, is that it also gives you a good barometer of just tempo of the game, obviously. And you can cash a first period puck line with Toronto, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win the game. You got your money and you get the hell out, and then maybe you can come the other side on a live wager. You could try to maybe pile more on Toronto. Maybe you see you cash a first period play and nothing happens in the second period, and now you have a chance to tail more on that side in the third period, or go the other option. So that's a reason why I like that. If I had to play something first period in this game, it definitely would be looking at the Leafs puck line. And like I said, you might get a good effort in the first period, but then they come out and take the foot off the gas. They have a 2-0 lead. So right. You have that opening there, and I think Toronto, if they're going to win this game, they should dictate the pace early. So I would definitely look toward a first period puck line play with the Leafs as well.
Would this be an official play here you want to lock in, or
we could might as well put a half unit on that, since we went half unit on the full game. We'll go half unit on the first period as well.
All right, so there you go. We got a full unit down in this Leafs Florida game, half unit on Leafs in regulation, half unit on Leafs first period puck line -0.5 at plus 155. So those are the two there. And reminder, we will recap all these at the very end of the show, so we'll circle back to them, go through what we played and how much we played them for. And for anybody out there wondering, a full unit for us is listed as a $100 unit, so half unit down to $50 obviously on these ones for tracking purposes. Now, next game of the night here, a Metro battle between the Islanders and the Washington Capitals. The Islanders coming into this one, first wildcard spot in the East. They're 3 points up on the Pittsburgh Penguins at this point, 6 points up on Florida, as I had mentioned there. 6-3-1 in their last 10 coming into this game. And this team on the road this season, just below 500. You're looking at them 16, 15, and 6, whereas the Capitals over their last 10 have been struggling a little bit, 3, 5, and 2 coming into this one. We're looking at essentially a coin flip price between the Islanders and the Capitals, -101 on the Islanders, -108 on the Capitals. Is there anything that you would be interested in playing in this one at all?
Yeah, I would lean toward looking at the Islanders. Obviously, there's two teams, with wild card aspirations, but the Islanders are in a much better spot. But they have struggled in Washington. They've lost 5 of the last 6 meetings in DC. Only won 2 of the last 9 meetings against the Capitals overall. So they've had a rough sledding against this team, but like I said, they're just in better form right now. I don't trust Washington to string together a bunch of great wins right now. And it's the Isles team that with Ilya Sorokin, I mean, he's a lot of people are saying that he should really be the one of the finalists to be MVP because he has carried this Islander team on his back time and time again, especially when that blue line has had some of their not so stellar efforts. So this is a game I would be looking toward the Islanders, but it's tough to bet a side here when, like I said, both teams desperately needing points. My gut says go with the draw here, but we haven't seen a lot of these draws cash in. A lot of games have actually been wrapping up in the last 2 or 3 days. I know last night I got buried missing a couple of these draws, but it's just hard to see where any team would take a risk. And Washington, I mean, they were the model, right? Over the weekend, we saw them, with that bad loss late against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It was Anthony Mantha with the bad giveaway, and Malkin scores on the breakaway. So, I think they've learned from that lesson. If there's any team we're not going to see try and gamble with the puck late in a contest when it's tied or they're down one, it's going to be Washington. So it's a tough one. I'm probably just going to stay away from it and watch this, maybe pick this game apart live.
Daniel H asking here, why is this close to a pick 'em? Something fishy here. I have NYI a decent amount better than Washington right now.
I do too. I think it's strictly people are betting Washington off of their previous history. Like I said, they've won 5 of the last 6 against the Owls at home, 7 of the last 9 overall. And I think that's the reason why this line was close. If this game was if the Islanders were at home or Washington was already out of this playoff race, I think Owls would probably be minus $1.40, $1.50. So from a price perspective, the Islanders are the side to look at in my opinion as well. But like I said, those parameters and the fact that these are two teams that haven't made things easy of late in their wild card chase, it's probably better to stay away from.
Right. Fair enough. All right, so we'll move on from that game, but you did bring something up there. I'm interested to ask you, not necessarily from a betting perspective, but just a personal opinion. Who's your front runner for the Vezina at this point? Would it be Sorokin?
Yeah, at this point now, yeah, it'd have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, even though with Allmark, as great of a run as he's had all year, but Sorokin, I mean, the fact that that team would be well out of a playoff spot in my opinion without Sorokin. Boston with how well Boston's played, they still would be a playoff team with Swayman. I mean, Swayman's had an excellent year too. He's arguably the best backup in the league right now. So it's almost, you hate to say that a guy's too good. But that's kind of the case with Linus Hallmark in a sense where, he's been so great, but also the team around him has been great. Sorokin, in my eyes, he's playing with a middling team. And he's made them better and made them most likely a playoff team. So I would say maybe he has a little bit of that inside track.
Yeah, well, it is also like a product of your environment to an extent there, right? Where Allmark is going to get the boost because his team in front of him is so good, whereas the Islanders essentially got a boost because Sorokin was so good. You look at the body of work from Sorokin early in the season before this team had really gotten things together. We were coming on here talking about the Islanders, we're talking obviously in hyperbole as I'm bringing up now, but this team's no good, but Sorokin. And then, now all of a sudden we started to get to a point where it was all right, well, Sorokin dragged them through what they were going through to be able to get to the other side. And now all of a sudden the Islanders started to figure things out and they have Sorokin. Now we're looking at them okay, that might be a team you don't want to play against in the playoffs. Heads up for them because starting to figure it out plus Sorokin.
That's the thing that I kind of differ with. I think, and I said it on my podcast last night, the Ice Guys, I think whichever two teams get the wild card spot in the East, we may only see them combined for no more than 2 wins total. I could easily see both wild card teams getting swept or getting put away within 5. I just really don't think with the way that this battle has been with all these teams and no one has just consistently, strung together enough wins to just take a spot right now. I think that they've kind of beat each other up and whoever's, whoever gets to the finish line, they're going to be limping to that finish line. And then they got to play either Boston or Carolina. So I don't think it's going to be much to, write home about with any team that gets into the playoffs from the wild card spot.
So you think if the Islanders face against Carolina, they're likely not going to win more than a game or two?
One game. I could easily see them losing in 5. Yes.
I disagree. I think they have a decent shot at beating Carolina. I could see it on the flip side against.
Yeah, no, I know, and I know, and a lot of people said that. A lot of people have said that with that particular matchup, but I just don't. I don't see that. I really
Yeah,
do.
I just think that they would match up well there. I think if it was the Islanders against the Bruins, I would probably agree with you, and then I
Yeah,
could see Carolina taking out Pittsburgh fairly easily if it was
and I
flipped.
guess
But
I guess that's more the other thing too is that I don't see anybody getting a win against Boston in the first round. I
right,
really
okay,
don't.
fair enough.
So
Yeah,
it's gonna be the one of those wins. So it could be I could still be right, and two wins come out of whoever plays Carolina.
right.
But I don't see any game sixes or game sevens out of a team involving a wild card competitor out of the East. So
Yeah, fair enough. I think I just think looking at that matchup between the two of them, I think the Islanders could fare well against the Canes, and I personally would think like there could be a shot at the Islanders actually being able to beat the Canes. But I do understand what you're saying there, and especially considering what the other matchup would potentially or would be.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that being the case. All right, final game of the night here. Minnesota on the road taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Minnesota, Colorado. This is going to be a fun one to watch because not just the level of play of these two teams right now, but more importantly, what this could mean for the standings. Minnesota holding on to first in the Central, and they are 1 point up on Colorado and 1 point up on Dallas as it stands right now. They have one more game played than the Avs, same amount of games played as Dallas. They're 7-1-2 coming into this one on their last 10, 2-game win streak, and Colorado 9-1 in their last 10, a 3-game win streak. A win here tonight launches them to first in the division. You're looking at this one plus 143 for the Minnesota Wild against the Avalanche. And I'm seeing Daniel H here saying like the draw here in Colorado, Minnesota. Is there a way that you would be playing this one, a way that you would be looking at this game between these two teams tonight?
Yeah, so there's two plays I have, and it's basically kind of a hybrid of a double chance, but with better odds. So I'm gonna go one unit on Colorado in regulation. I've seen that anywhere between minus $1.05, plus 106 at Pinnacle, and I'm also liking the draw. I'm gonna play that for a quarter unit at
Okay.
325. And so the thought process here is that obviously a draw makes complete sense with two teams battling for the Central Division lead. Minnesota has been the kings of the draw, essentially. They're one of 10 teams now to have over 20 games go to regulation draw. Colorado just right outside the door with 19. So definitely a candidate for that. But also at the same time, just knowing the Wild's history, they've lost the last 4 meetings in Denver. Home team 5-2 the last 7 meetings between these two clubs, and the favorite has won 7 of the last 10. And just Minnesota, whenever they need to step up and win a big game, chances are they don't. So in this kind of a high pressure spot, I just trust the Avalanche more. Obviously, defending Stanley Cup champions, like I said, played well against the Wild at home, winning 4 of the last 4 meetings. So I'm lean with Colorado, but I've got a little bit of a safety net there with that draw at plus 325 for a smaller unit.
So you're going the quarter unit on
On the
the
draw,
draw, and
right?
then how much was it on the other one?
And that full unit on the
Okay.
regulation.
Okay. All right. So there you go. So we grabbed the regulation at plus 106 as well as the draw there at plus 327. So quarter unit on that and the full unit on the plus 106 in this game here tonight. If you're looking at this one between these two teams, obviously we just broke down how we would play this, but what do you kind of expect out of this game here tonight in terms of pace of play, intensity? Are we looking at like maybe a playoff style game?
Yeah,
Kind of ramping up. This could be a preview of what we might see moving forward from these guys.
absolutely. I expect to see a lot of physicality. Definitely, I wish this was one of those nights where you could bet somewhere. Will there be a fight? I would definitely bet yes on
Right.
that. I could definitely see maybe Reeves and Josh Manson throwing down. That would probably be the matchup to look for in that department. But I think we're gonna see a lot of physicality. I think we're gonna see a lot of chippiness after the whistle. I mean, we could see some power play opportunities. So that's the thing. It's kind of hard to read. I don't want to jump on a total right now. This is definitely going to be a great game to watch and bet live as far as totals are concerned. Maybe looking for those next to score props, trying to catch some of those power play opportunities and things of that nature. But so a lean. If I had to play something now, I would actually probably lean toward the under at 6. I can see it's getting a little bit tighter, but like I said, all it takes is 1 or 2 penalties, and all of a sudden the power play goal comes in, and then the game opens up. So I'm staying away from a total. If I see something that pops up live, I'll try to jump on that and maybe give that out on Twitter.
All right, so we opened the show talking about the Pacific Division winners, talking about maybe grabbing a plus price there. Maybe this isn't something we're willing to play or look at, but What's your prediction for how the Central Division wraps up? We're looking at such a tight race there. Obviously, Colorado has kind of stormed through the last month and a bit to get to the place that they're in right now and be in a position where after tonight they could be first in the Central. But 7-8 games from now, regular season comes to an end. Who's sitting atop the Central Division, second and third? How do you see that shaping out?
The way I see it right now, it looks like it's going to be Colorado. That wins this division, obviously. Like I said, a win here with both them in front, and with the second and third spots, it's really tough. I think Dallas is the better team than Minnesota, but Dallas has just been in really rough form of late. So I think Minnesota could end up with the home ice advantage, which would be humongous for them. I think that's crucial for Minnesota. If you don't finish first, you got to finish second, and make sure you have game 1 and potentially game 7 at home. Because they've historically been a much better team at XL Energy Center than away from it. So I think that's crucial for them. But, like I said, I think Colorado will end up being the division winner here and getting that top spot.
All right, last thing I want to ask you before we wrap this one up. You're looking at the playoffs there. I thought for me that team that would be a team to look out for, or that team that you say like you don't want to play come playoff time or whatever it is to throw the cliche on them would be the Islanders for me. That's the team that I would have a heads up for personally. You're looking at the teams going into the playoffs, including wildcard teams, including maybe some underrated teams who are just sitting into a playoff spot right now, whether it be in the top 3 positions of their division. Who's a team that you sit here right now and say, I don't want to face that team?
I'd say the LA Kings. I think they're just a really pesky bunch. They're going to be a very tough out. And like I said, I could easily see them finding their way to the Western Conference Final at least. They have, hot goalie with Copley. Korpisalo has had a new lease on life as well. So now you got 2 goaltenders that are kind of rolling in a good rhythm. You have a ton of players that you can rely on offensively. They don't have that one step up guy that they just lean on. It's not like the McDavid Draisaitl show in Edmonton. They have a rotating cast, and you got guys that still don't get enough recognition as far as I'm concerned. Gabe Velarde and Adrian Kempe. Amongst the veterans like Drew Doughty and Ante Kopitar. So I like their makeup, and I think they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. That's the team that I would not want to face.
Yeah, I have my eyes on them as well. I think they'll be a difficult matchup to go against. I kind of look forward to the Oilers, if they have to play them come playoff time, because I think that'll be a fun one to watch. The Kings gave them a tough time last year, and I could see it being a similar situation this year, and potentially maybe the Kings having that type of upset this year to be able to get past the Oilers this season. But, the Kings are an interesting one for me. All right. That'll about do it for today's show. I just want to remind people as well, obviously, you can go over to BetSam, track all the picks that we've given out, find our record throughout the course of the year, iOS, Android, and here on web. You can find it in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. As well, you can go to the link in the description if you are looking to sign up for new sports books. Click that link. You can sort by state, province, wherever you're at to be able to find new sports books to sign up for. Take advantage of all the different offers that you can see in the descriptions of those sports books. So make sure to do that. It helps support the show. But the other thing I want to remind people, if you enjoy the daily NHL shows, you enjoy the daily NBA shows, well, you will definitely enjoy the daily MLB show. Starting tomorrow at 12 Eastern time, you can find John Legeza. He will be live every single day, Monday through Friday of the MLB season, giving out his best bets for that day, breaking down the games, most interesting matchups, player props, money line, sides, totals, all that kind of stuff. John Legeza will be hosting that show on the Call to the Pen YouTube channel, so make sure to head over there. Show it some love. Give it a subscribe. Like the videos. They have some season previews up already if you're looking to get a jump start on your MLB betting season. So make sure to check that out. You can find that here on the main page of the Edgework HQ YouTube channel listed there as Call to the Pen. So check that out. Give it a subscribe. They will be live every day, Monday through Friday, giving daily MLB picks and previews with John Legeza from The Athletic doing that. Last thing we got to do here before we wrap this one up, Alex, we'll recap the picks here from today. So we're looking at this one. We only have 3 games tonight, but we still have 4 bets, 2 in each game, different ways to play these ones, and they can kind of go together here and coincide. So as mentioned, half unit on each of these in the first game in the Toronto-Florida game. That would be $50 unit size for us as we're tracking at a $100 unit here. So first one we're looking at is the Toronto Maple Leafs first period puck line minus 0.5 plus 155, a half unit. That is the first period puck line minus 0.5 plus 155 for a half unit. Then we go to the regulation time money line for the Maple Leafs plus 108, another half unit there. So that's a regulation time money line for Toronto plus 108 half units. And then we go down to the third game of the night, as we skipped over the second game. No bets in that one. Third game of the night, we're looking at Colorado, Minnesota, a regulation time draw for a quarter unit plus 327. That is Colorado, Minnesota, regulation time draw plus 327. And then we are also taking for a full unit Colorado money line in regulation plus 106. The Avalanche money line in regulation plus 106 for a full unit on that one. So those are our bets for today. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure to subscribe here to the Edgework HQ YouTube channel. Make sure to like this stream. Alex, thank you for hopping in here today. Greatly appreciate the insight and analysis as always. I will see you back here next week on Monday. And for everyone else, I will see you guys back here tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Good luck on your bets tonight.